I need to share something with you, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I was once sent on a mission, a dark assignment. My job was simple, to attack and block the finances of believers. I was part of a crew, and together we used every tactic we knew: curses, manipulations, and fear. We watched as people struggled, as they lost everything. But there was one thing that I never expected. I couldn't explain it at first. There were people we targeted, people we tried to bring down. But no matter what we did, they couldn't be touched. I saw them keep thriving, keep prospering, even when we tried to stop them. It was frustrating. How? Why wasn't this working on them? I tried everything. The same curses that worked on others just didn't stick. And in my confusion, I decided to dig deeper. I had to find out why these believers were untouchable. What were they doing that we hadn't accounted for? And that's when I discovered something I never expected, something I could never control. What I found completely shattered everything I thought I knew about power. It wasn't dark magic, spells, or curses that kept them safe. It was something else. Something divine. Something ancient. 3 specific Isaiah verses had created a spiritual shield around them, and it was something I couldn't break, no matter how hard I tried. The very words they spoke over their lives became the barrier I couldn't penetrate. It stopped my power cold. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you those verses, and why they became the real key to their protection. These verses stopped everything I was doing, and they can change your life, just like they changed mine. Stick with me, because what I'm about to share with you is the secret to breaking free from every curse, every spiritual attack, and every block that's been holding you back. I've seen it all. The manipulation, the control, the fear. As a witch, I was sent to destroy people's lives in the most brutal way possible. Block their finances, stop their prosperity, keep them trapped in poverty. It wasn't just about money either. We targeted their peace, their joy, their future. I was a part of a crew, and we had one goal: to take away everything they had worked for. We would use fear, confusion, and lies to destroy their confidence, to make them feel like nothing would ever go right. And it worked. Over and over again, we watched as people lost jobs, missed opportunities, and saw their financial futures crumbling. But then there were the ones who wouldn't break. I remember this one family in particular. No matter what we did, they kept going. They stayed strong. Their finances kept improving. Their faith in God never wavered. We tried everything. We made them lose opportunities, brought doubt into their minds, even tried to convince them they were cursed. But it didn't stick. At first, I thought it was just luck. Maybe it was just a coincidence that things were working out for them. But deep down, I felt something else, something that told me I had missed something. What was I doing wrong? So we doubled down. I called for more extreme measures, stronger curses, more manipulative tactics, trying to bend their will. Nothing worked. I couldn't understand why. And that's when I decided I had to go deeper. I began observing them more closely, trying to figure out what they were doing that made them untouchable. That's when I noticed it. Every night, they read their Bible. They didn't just read it, they spoke it aloud, almost like they were declaring something over their lives. At first I didn't think much of it, but then I realized it was these words that were protecting them. It was like they had a spiritual shield, and I couldn't touch them. That's when it hit me. These believers weren't just praying, they were using something far more powerful. Something I had never counted on. I had to know what they were doing. I couldn't let this go. There was something in their actions that I wasn't seeing. Something that was making them immune to my power. One night I finally decided to take a deeper look. I had seen them reading their Bible before, but now I paid closer attention. And that's when I found the first verse, the verse that made everything crystal clear. Isaiah 54:17. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. When I read it, it hit me like a wave of truth. I had used every weapon in my arsenal, spells, curses, fear, but none of them could touch them. This verse made it impossible for anything I tried to work. I couldn't break through. No matter what, their protection was unshakable. But it didn't end there. As I watched them, I realized something else. Every time they spoke, they didn't just stop at that one verse. They kept going. They kept declaring something over their lives, something that would make them invincible in the face of attacks. Then came the second verse, Isaiah 41:10. Fear not, for I am with you. This one left me stunned. Fear was my weapon, my tool to control people. It was everything I used to paralyze them, to keep them from making moves, from succeeding. But this verse, spoken with faith, had dissolved that weapon. Fear couldn't touch them anymore. They had God's presence, and it removed every ounce of fear I tried to instill. And then, the final verse I found, Isaiah 59:19. When the enemy comes in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord will lift up a standard against him. This verse was the last nail in the coffin. I realized that no matter how hard I tried to overwhelm them with chaos or negativity, the Spirit of God was lifting up a barrier that I couldn't penetrate. It wasn't just defense, it was a force stronger than anything I had. I was powerless against it. That's when I understood. These weren't just verses, these were spiritual weapons. The real power was in these words that I could never break no matter how hard I tried, and it left me with a truth I wasn't ready to face. I had been using the wrong tools all along. At that moment, everything began to shift for me. The truth was undeniable. I had spent my entire life using the wrong kind of power, trying to control people, trying to break them down. But these verses, these simple words, were stronger than anything I had ever known. I couldn't keep going with the mission after that. Something had changed inside me. I realized that I had been blind to the truth for so long. I had always believed that magic, spells, and manipulation were the ultimate form of power. But now I saw the real power. The power in these words, in the faith of those who trusted in them. I decided I had to stop. I couldn't keep using darkness to control people's lives anymore. I needed to turn away from all that and learn the truth for myself. And so I started reading the Isaiah verses every night. At first, I didn't understand fully what they could do. But with every word, I felt something change. When I spoke Isaiah 54:17, I started to feel protected. No weapon, no fear, no curse could touch me. It was like a shield went up around me, and I knew that nothing could get through. That was the start of my freedom. Next, Isaiah 41:10 hit me deeply. Fear not, for I am with you. I had lived my whole life in fear of failure, fear of being exposed, fear of not having enough. But when I spoke that verse, I felt the fear melt away. I wasn't alone anymore. God's presence was with me, and that made me bold in ways I had never been before. And finally, Isaiah 59:19, when the enemy comes in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord will lift up a standard against him. This one was the most profound for me. I had always seen myself as the enemy, using my power to destroy and control. But now I understood. God's Spirit was lifting up a barrier against every attack, against every negative force, and I could feel that protection over me. Now, let me show you how you can take these verses and use them to transform your own life. If you've been struggling, if you've been facing financial battles, spiritual attacks, or personal hardships, these verses are the key to breaking free. They worked for me, and they can work for you. Here's what I want you to do. 1. Isaiah 54:17. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. This verse became my shield, the first line of defense. When you're facing challenges, whether it's financial struggles, health issues, or emotional turmoil, speak this verse out loud. Declare that no weapon, no attack, no curse, and no negativity can prosper against you. Visualize that protection surrounding you as if it's a divine shield keeping every negative force at bay. Here's what you do. Speak this verse out loud every morning. Pray with confidence. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. I am protected by the power of God. Stand in faith and believe that nothing can touch you. 2. Isaiah 41:10. Fear not, for I am with you. Fear is one of the most paralyzing forces. It can block your progress, hold you back from stepping into your destiny, and keep you trapped in a cycle of doubt. But this verse offers something powerful: God's presence with you. I want you to claim this verse as your foundation. When fear creeps in, when you feel overwhelmed, say this verse out loud. Tell yourself, God is with me. I will not fear. I am not alone. Feel His presence and know that nothing can stand against you when you walk with His strength. 3. Isaiah 59:19. When the enemy comes in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord will lift up a standard against him. This verse is your final defense, the ultimate protection against spiritual attacks. There will be times when life feels like it's coming at you all at once, overwhelming, chaotic, as if the enemy is attacking from all sides. But this verse promises that God's Spirit will raise a barrier that the enemy cannot cross. Here's what you do. Say this verse out loud when things feel like they're spinning out of control. Claim it with authority. When the enemy comes in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord will raise a standard against him. Visualize the Spirit of God creating a wall around you, protecting you from every attack. Now, I want you to put these verses into practice. It's not just about speaking the words, but believing them, acting on them, and seeing the change in your life. These verses are spiritual laws that work, but you have to engage with them. I want to hear from you. How do these verses resonate with you? Have you ever used scriptures like this to break free from an attack or challenge? Drop a comment below and share your experience. Let's talk about how you're using these verses to claim your freedom. Now that you've heard my story, I want to hear yours. I know some of you are watching this right now, and maybe you've been feeling like you've been spiritually blocked. Maybe your finances haven't been moving forward, or you felt like there's something invisible holding you back, stopping you from reaching your full potential. I get it, I've been there, and I'm here to tell you that you are not alone in this struggle. Have you ever felt like you were stuck, like you couldn't break free from an invisible force holding you back? Maybe you've even had dreams or signs, like the ones I just talked about, where you felt chased, or like you were losing control of your life. If that's you, I want you to know that this isn't your end. This is just the beginning of your breakthrough. I want to hear your story. Drop a comment below and let me know if any of the spiritual signs I mentioned resonate with you. Have you ever had dreams of being chased or overwhelmed by darkness? Or maybe you've faced financial struggles that just seem impossible to break? I believe that by sharing our stories, we can help each other break free. Maybe you've already started applying some of the verses I shared in your own life. Has it made a difference? Or maybe you're just starting to speak those words of protection over your life. I want to hear about your victories, no matter how big or small. Let's create a space where we can support each other and build each other up. This isn't just about me sharing my story. It's about us as a community coming together to break free from the spiritual forces that try to hold us back. If this video has touched your heart and helped you in any way, I encourage you to hit that like button and share this video with someone you know who might be facing similar struggles. You never know who needs to hear these words right now. I want you to listen closely right now, because what I'm about to say can change everything for you. You are not powerless. You are not stuck in your circumstances. No matter what has happened in your life, no matter what you've been through, God has already given you everything you need to break free and rise. These verses, the Isaiah verses I shared with you, are not just words on paper, they are spiritual weapons. When you speak them, when you declare them over your life, they hold the power to change your reality. I want you to declare with me right now, wherever you are. Say this out loud. I am free from every financial curse. I rise in the power of God. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. I am protected. I am bold, and I will not fear. The Spirit of God is my shield, my standard, and nothing can stand against me. Feel that power rising up within you as you speak these words. This is your victory. The enemy has no power over you when you claim these truths. The attacks will stop, the blocks will fall, and your freedom will come. I want you to remember this. You are walking in victory. No matter what the enemy tries to throw at you, no matter how many times you've been knocked down, you have the power to stand up and declare your breakthrough. God has already given you everything you need. These verses are your shield, your strength, and your protection. You have the authority to speak them over every area of your life and watch as things begin to change. If this video has helped you and you're ready to claim your victory, then make sure you subscribe to this channel. I'll be bringing you more content like this to help you walk in spiritual freedom and overcome every barrier that's been holding you back. And don't forget to share this video with anyone who needs to hear this message. Together, we'll break free and walk in the victory that God has for us. In the next video, I'll be sharing 5 hidden spiritual signs that you may be under attack and how to fight back. You won't want to miss it. So make sure to turn on notifications.